Hey friends, it is Miss Liz here, and I am back this month with another installment of Kitchen Science! Yay! And if you've been doing this series with me for a while, you know that Kitchen Science is designed to bring science experiments into your home using stuff that can be found in the everyday kitchen. This month we are going to be studying plate tectonics. So what's plate tectonics, you might be wondering? Plate tectonics is the movement of the Earth's crust that leads to the formation of volcanoes, mountains, and oceanic trenches. So by using just two simple things that can be found in a home, we are going to look at plate tectonics and see just how these things are formed. So, to get this experiment started, you're going to need a few things that you can find around your kitchen. You are going to need a box of graham crackers, a tub of Cool Whip, or if you don't have Cool Whip on hand, you can use any soft food like frosting or peanut butter, just something soft that's going to mimic the Earth's hot flowing mantle. You're also going to need 3 large plates to create our Earth plates on. You're going to need a spoon to scoop out the whipped cream with, and you're going to need 3 blank sheets of paper as well as a marker to write our scientific findings on. Once you have all of these supplies on hand, you're ready to begin today's experiment. To begin our experiment, we are going to create a mantle of the Earth's surface using our whipped topping. You are going to simply open it and scoop some onto the plate. Take that spoon and start smoothing your whipped topping all over to make sure that you have a nice surface layer of your Earth. If you want to make it look a little bit more realistic, like the mantle in the Earth's crust, feel free to take food coloring such as orange or red or yellow to give it a nice fiery glow. Or if you're like me and just want to use white Cool Whip, that is okay too. Make sure your entire plate is covered before moving on to your next step. Then on top of the mantle that we just put down, we are going to take a graham cracker and you're going to split it in half. These 2 pieces of graham cracker are going to represent the cooler ridge crust. Where they meet, before we broke them, that line is called the plate boundary, and they are named by the way plates move against each other. The first boundary we're going to look at today is called the transform boundary. The transform boundary is a type of boundary that occurs when 2 plates grind past each other, which means they kind of just brush each other's sides. So what we're going to do so that we know which boundary this is supposed to be is we're going to take our marker, we're going to put our graham crackers to the side for a second, and our whipped cream. And we're going to take one of our sheets of paper and we're going to write transform boundary so that when we put our plate down, we know what this one is. So you write it at the bottom of your paper just like that. And then we can move our mantle back on there. And now we're going to put our plates on our mantle and we are going to mimic what it's like for a transform boundary. So taking 2 fingers, you are just going to kind of grind them up and down. Move them slowly up. Move one slowly down. And if you're doing this at home, you can kind of hear the noise those graham crackers are making. They're kind of grinding, they're wearing away at each other, and they're just slowly moving. As you're doing this, not only notice the sound that they're making, but notice how it feels when you're pushing them together. Is it moving smoothly? Is it kind of getting stuck? Is it taking a little bit longer than you thought it would? If your plates are moving like mine, they're kind of gritty. They move nicely, but they are wearing away at each other. And over time, they'll start to get those edges will start to get smoother and less jagged. Let me tell you a little bit more about these transform boundaries. As the plates move in opposite directions slowly, they grind past each other and occasionally they get snagged on one another. So if you find that your graham cracker plates are getting a little bit harder to move because they're getting caught on each other, that is totally normal. As the pressure builds, the plates will finally slip and they release a jolt of energy. And do you want to know what that energy feels like for us on Earth? It feels like an earthquake. If you want to keep playing with your transform boundary, by all means, please do. Feel free to pause this video. I'm going to move on to the next boundary, and you can always come back and play more. Or if you're ready to move along with me, you're going to grab another plate and we are going to create another mantle. So for our next boundary, we are going to make a divergent boundary. So make sure to grab your piece of paper and your pen or marker or crayon or whatever you're using and write divergent boundary on it so that we know that this is what this plate represents. Once you have it all written down on your piece of paper, you are going to take your plate and we are going to create another mantle using some more whipped cream. So once again, just plop it on down there and make sure to cover the base of your plate. As we're covering this, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what a divergent boundary is. A divergent boundary occurs when two plates move away from each other. So using graham crackers again, we are going to mimic this while pulling graham crackers apart. So you're going to break this apart again. You're going to place it next to each other. And you are going to slowly pull this away. And as you're pulling this away, do you notice anything that's going on? Take a look at those sides. Did some of that whipped cream that was in the middle ooze out onto the top? It should have, because that's what divergent boundaries are known for. You can also do this by pulling your plates up and down away from each other. As you're playing with this, go slowly, go fast, see if that affects how much of your whipped cream oozes around. Most active divergent boundaries occur when two oceanic plates move away from each other. Hot magma flows up where the plates separate, so this is where our hot magma would be, right here in this middle, and they form large underwater lava flows and create a new seafloor and even volcanic islands. So notice what's going on with that guy, keep going, and what's great is that if your magma is gone, you can just lift up your crackers, take your spoon, and reset your plate. And keep experimenting. So we're going to start with them close. And you're going to push down and notice how that came up on top and it's oozing out the sides. If your graham cracker breaks while you're doing this, like mine just did, that's okay. That is just, again, science to show you how the plates may break on the Earth's surface, because over time they do wear down and they do break away and they do form their own boundaries. So if yours break, that's okay. Actually, you can use those then to create your own movement. And just keep playing with them and experimenting with them. If you want to keep playing with your divergent boundary, please feel free to pause this video and come back when you're done. I'm going to put this to the side with our transform boundary, and we are going to talk about the last boundary today. The last boundary we're going to talk about today is called a convergent boundary. These are the final type of boundary, and they occur when two plates move towards each other. So once again, you're going to take a nice scoop of whipped cream, put it on your plate, and push it all around to create that mantle. You're going to take a third graham cracker, crack it in half, and we are going to move these plates towards each other. And really quick before we do that, let me just let you know that when these two plates move towards each other, they can either collide, which would make them form a mountain, or one plate can slide under the other plate, creating a subduction zone. We're gonna do the plates sliding under each other first and create the subduction zone. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take one cracker, push it towards the other cracker, and you'll notice that he slid right underneath him. Now can you do it with the other cracker and make this guy go on top? You might have to wipe some of the whipped cream off, that's okay. And we're gonna create that. And this tectonic plate covered this tectonic plate. Now if you wanna see how mountains are formed, you're gonna take another graham cracker. First you're gonna wash your hands, actually. And then we're gonna form some mountains. To create our mountain plates, you're gonna need the help of some water, so feel free to grab a bowl or a cup of that. And also what I realized when I was washing my hands was I never made our sheet for what plate boundary this was. So I'm gonna write that down really quickly. If you caught my mistake and you already did your sheet, good job, scientists, because I totally forgot. Now that I have my plates written out, we can make some mountains. So you are going to take a fresh graham cracker, pop it in half. You're gonna make sure that there's enough whipped cream on your tectonic plate again. You're gonna make sure that there's enough whipped cream to create the mantle again. And then you're gonna dip one end, just this side, of each graham cracker into the water quickly to make it a little soggy. So it should have about that much water on it for each of them. Then what you're gonna do is put your graham crackers onto your mantle and slowly push them towards each other. As you're pushing them, take note that the part that we put in the water is starting to lift up, and then when they come together, they form a mountain. See that? Now you can continue to keep pushing them together. The more you push, the higher that mountain is gonna go. And feel free to keep making your mountain as high or as crazy as you want it. Just know that it will get smushy after a while and start falling. So have fun playing with that. You can also take out your graham crackers and dip the other ends in it to make another mountain. Or you can take a fresh graham cracker, whatever you prefer. But feel free to have fun and keep playing around with your science experiment. Thank you all so much for joining me for today's kitchen science. I hope you learned something new and had some fun in the kitchen while you were doing it. If you made these experiments at home and would like to share your work, please feel free to send me a picture of what you made to the email address listed below. And I hope to see you again next month for our next installment of Kitchen Science. Until then, take care, and we hope to see you soon at the library. Bye!